Alrighty, what is quacking, everyone? Sizzle season is upon us shortly, and we got some nice fat controversy with the Wiper Deco. It's got a nice juicy kit of beacons and missiles, and that's where everyone's losing their mind, is the missiles. Everyone is just out here going insane. They killed the game. How could they? No! This honestly might just be the case. They killed the current meta in its entirety, but at what cost? Splatoon 3 is going to be so much worse now. Rip this game. They gave it missiles. Now we're going to be stuck in a missile meta because they gave it to a good weapon too. As a Wiper enjoyer, I can only hope and pray they nerf missiles and not the main weapon because, man, this stinks. Me when I see the enemy team with 2 flingses and 2 Wiper Decos. It's Jover, isn't it? First of all, if you're losing to a team with 2 Wipers and 2 flingses, you suck. Like, that team comp is not good. They have no lethals, and the Wipers don't really paint that much. So I don't know how you think losing to missile spam is... If you're losing to missile spam, you just suck. I'm sorry. 4 missiles and you're losing? Like... Learn how to move out of the missile's way. I don't understand that concept, but yeah, play better if you're losing to that comp, because that's a terrible comp. Well, that's one way to butcher everything, I guess. So when Splatoon 4? Oh my god, the game's ruined. We need to wait for the next game now. Go play Foam Stars or whatever that game's called that Sony's coming out with, if you're gonna act like that. We are generally doomed. This is gonna change the meta, most likely for the worse. Not really. No, it's not. Really doubt it's going to change the meta for the worst. Please, no, anything but missiles. We should stop expecting Nintendo to make good game decisions. Unless you plan on fixing missiles or something, this was a completely wrong decision. This really sucks. I don't know what you mean by fix missiles. They already nerfed missiles heavily by making sure that you can't recharge missiles after you fire them, which is probably one of the only things that missiles really needed, but go off, I guess. They better nerf missiles into the ground. Again, what do you hope to do with missiles by them nerfing it into the ground? Do you want to just only be able to die if you get single missiled and have to stand still and take every single missile shot? Like, I don't understand what people think. They just want the special to be absolutely useless. That makes no sense, but okay. You guys don't understand game design. So... I could go on for days with all those dumb tweets of people going, oh my god, missiles, it's so broken, and stuff like that. I'm not under the impression, though, that I think missiles are bad. No, they're a good special. They have a lot of purpose and utility. They're a great disruption special for backlines and to honestly get information on where people are at, because you can see where people are at. However, this is where people don't tend to think. First of all, don't missile share with your team. If you're in a group setting, you should be able to coordinate with your team to avoid the missiles and go, hey, they know our locations now. Let's do this X strategy so they get thrown off. There's a lot that you can do to counter missiles. I don't understand where people get this impression that missiles are just this overpowered thing in the world. They're not. This game is also incredibly balanced, by the way. I don't know why people think this game is super unbalanced when it's not. There is so much weapon diversity in this game, it's insane. Compared to other games that have a competitive scene or to other games that have had extremely broken things. I play a lot of Destiny 2. When we got this subclass called Stasis, you know what would happen? Imagine if every time you use crab, vacuum, or anything else like that, if someone popped missiles and they looked at you, you were frozen in place and your special was canceled. That was Stasis. You could use your super and someone could just throw a frost grenade and you're frozen and you're dead because you can't move. You're frozen for a good 3 to 4 seconds. You are instantly dead. There's nothing you can do. That's broken. Missiles do none of those things and are not broken. They are good though. I will say that. It is good. Missiles do have their properties that are good, that are fantastic. Just because something is good though, doesn't mean it's broken. It needs to be nerfed into the ground for it to finally be useful. Learn how to adapt adapt to the situation, learn how things work, and use it. Missiles have been in Splatoon 2. Some of these people complaining play Splatoon 2. You had a whole game to figure out how to learn to get around missiles. And we're 6 months into this game, and you still don't understand how to break missiles, get away from missiles, deal with missiles. There's multiple solutions dealing with missiles. If you are not surrounded by your team, you can leave. Move away from the missiles. If you are, or you just want to do something, you can stay stationary, and when the missiles come down, you move. That's crazy. I've only died to missiles, I would say I could count it on my hands, because I've learned how to deal with them, and everyone else should know how to deal with them. And the other part of it is, oh, they know your location. If we're all playing solo queue, we're all in the same field. How is that person going to relay the information of every single one of my teammates to their teammates if we're in a solo queue X-rank game? But if you're in a comp game and they relay it to their whole team, you can coordinate with your team going, hey, they know our positions, let's change it up. Let's do something else. There's so much counterplay to when you know that the enemy team knows what you're doing. If they know what you're doing, you can change that. Use that to your advantage. If you're just in a solo queue game and you're just missile spamming, then you're just missile spamming in solo queue, and you're probably not going to do much with that. And you can maybe solo carry if you're a good enough player. But other than that, yeah, it's not this super broken thing where it ends all the games. And again, you have stuff like this where it's like, Crab is another super that everyone bitches and complains about. Like, Crab's so broken. Crab's so broken. It's broken. The game's ruined because of Crab. Crab was balanced, in my opinion. I never had an issue with Crab either. I don't have any issues with any specials. If I'm dying to specials, it's because of my own mistakes and I'm getting caught out of place, or the enemy person is just that good at the game and they outplayed me with their specials. That is why I'm dying to specials. If I'm just being stupid and they're better than me, that is how I'm dying to specials. And this person is like, it's not like missiles where the overall dying is stupid and impossible to counter. Missiles are not impossible to counter. They are, easy to counter. There's tons of ways. Just because someone activates their missiles doesn't mean you can't get away from the missiles, and doesn't mean you can't do something about it either. I do want to make a fuller video about this sooner at some point and talk about this, but Respawn Punisher. What does Respawn Punisher do? Well, it takes the amount of time that for someone to respawn. It increases that time. What else does it do? It also lowers their special gauge. So if they have special saver when they die, or they respawn in general, they have a lot more paint that they have to do to get their special back. That is a viable ability to use. I know there's some people like, oh, well, it's good on backlines and stuff like that. I would like to push a more higher level of thinking about it and maybe say, I don't know, Slayer weapons can use it, midline supports could use it as well. I will make a video diving into that at some point in the near future when school isn't kicking my ass. However, that is a solution to the problem. There's an ability for that, to lower the amount of special charge that a weapon comes back with. That is a solution, a counter. The one thing about this community that irks me the most is, honestly, the skill gap in everything is insane. It's like the moment something good is in the game and people can't figure out how to get around it, they're just like, oh, it's over, game's ruined. Like, please use your brain. Figure out how to deal with things. This is why there is a very clear skill gap. It has shrunk since Splatoon 2. I will say that. I've been very impressed with watching a lot of the tournaments recently. I'm not the best player at this game, but I can definitely recognize good players and people who know how to deal with things very easily. And it just seems like a lot of people just don't understand how to deal with things. They're like, oh, it's annoying, it's broken. If it's annoying, it's broken. That's not how that works. Just because something is annoying doesn't mean it's broken. Like, Duck Hunt Can in Smash Brothers is annoying. It's not broken though. Squid School, however, does have a pretty more insightful version of it. However, like, I still don't think it's going to be super bad as people make it out to be. Missile spam isn't the only thing that's good about missiles. K-shot fired missiles, use the information from missiles to find player and get on top of them with a strong slaying weapon while they were running away. There hasn't been an S3 weapon like that until now. Yeah, pretty much all the missile weapons in Splatoon 3 are not slaying weapons. However, the difference between K-shot and Wiper that I would have to say is ease of use. Wiper has a very high skill ceiling, and honestly it has a pretty high barrier to entry as well. You're not just picking up Wiper and just going, well, I'm gonna kill everyone. That's not how Wiper works. Wiper takes 4 normal shots to kill, and it has a pretty decent range, but you're still gonna get outranged by some other weapons, and you can get killed pretty easily. And again, with its charge shot, you have to be accurate with that as well. Compared to other weapons, you actually have to put in effort to make sure you're getting that charge shot, which you have to charge and then aim and shoot, where other weapons can just outright kill you in 3 shots. They don't have to charge up, they don't have to wait. There's a lot of room for error with this weapon. It is a good slaying weapon for sure. I still don't think it's that good in like my mind. That's my opinion. I feel like there's definitely way better options, and you get more reward for certain weapons than Wiper for sure. So Wiper's still a good slaying weapon. There's still better options, and there's a lot of skill that you have to put into Wiper. I've seen some crazy Wiper clips though. Don't get me wrong. There's crazy Wiper clips, but again, because of how hard and much effort you have to put into this weapon, it does pay off, but there's still a lot of room for error that can happen with this weapon that you don't get with other weapons. You can just walk and shoot with other weapons, just shoot 3 shots and you're done. Rate of fire, really good for other weapons compared to this weapon. So this main weapon with missiles isn't gonna destroy the game. It's not broken. The game isn't over, and it's not ruined. I probably should have emphasized this more at the beginning of the video. I'm well aware of what I'm saying, and I am prepared for the heat. I do not care. I'm just so sick and tired of people not understanding game design and thinking that just because something's good just automatically means it's broken. It's not. That's not how it works. I think people definitely need to really critically think about how this game works and how the game functions and operates, because it just really seems like no one wants to push anything and get better at the game. It just seems like people want the most ease of use or just do other things. I see some people really try their best to get better at this game, but it always feels like the community pushes narratives for certain things that make no sense, and then people just get caught up in that, and they're like, oh yep, this is how things are, and it just feels like it hinders the growth of just players in general. It just feels like there's no honest discourse between what's actually broken and what's actually good or not, and it's insane to me. Like, whenever I play against a good Wiper player, I don't think, man, Wiper's broken, this should be good. I go, oh, here's my mistakes, this is what I'm doing wrong. Because again, I can see some of the errors that they're doing. I just can't fully mechanically do that, mainly because I haven't put tens of thousands of hours into Splatoon 3 like I did Splatoon 2, over 1,000 hours in under a year. But at the same time, like, I'm still able to see and point that out and understand how that works, which is something a lot of base level players or people who are trying to get better or something like that just don't notice. Like, they just go, this is meta, that's it. Like, there's so much more. The meta could constantly evolve in this game, and that's why, honestly, if you look at some top level players and some top level teams, they have a pretty decent weapon diversity in their team. They have weapon specialists. They have different weapons that maybe or may not like be meta, and that's crazy. But that's because that's how good they are, and they can win with those weapons. There's definitely a lot of growth that can come from this game if people just stopped and use their brain, thunketh for like 10 seconds about like what to do in this game, because it shouldn't be like this. So yeah, that's my thoughts overall. Missiles aren't broken. Stop panicking. The main weapon takes a lot of skill, so literally, if people are just using this weapon to missile spam, they're completely cheating themselves out of just using a different weapon entirely. Like Reflux, you can paint so much with Reflux. I literally got like almost 2,000 paint and like 7 missiles with Reflux in a game once. And it was so easy to just dominate because I was being a supportive painting weapon and disrupting the enemy with missiles. Did I get any kills with missiles? I think I only got 1 or 2 kills with missiles that game, but that's because people know how to avoid missiles and deal with them. And I wasn't coordinating with my team, so my team couldn't capitalize off that. I was just painting. I was just being a good supportive painting player with Reflux. So there's so much that is going on with this weapon and this kit. Missiles aren't broken. It's fine. Chill. The game's fine. Those are my thoughts. Whatever you think, leave in the comments down below. I suspect missile haters to be like, oh, how dare you say such a thing? How dare you? Oh, the game's ruined. You don't know what you're talking about. I do. You're stupid. Please get help and touch grass. I'll see you in the next one.